there was a huge outcry, I think, when Marguerita O'Rourke was killed outside her home in Rathkeale. Very, very sad story, given the fact she just had a baby 3 weeks earlier. And a man was charged quite quickly, and this week now he has changed his plea and admitted to causing her death.
Yeah, so Daniel Donoghue, he appeared before the Circuit Criminal Court in Limerick, and he pleaded guilty to dangerous driving causing the death of Marguerita O'Rourke Nee Sheridan. So O'Rourke was her married name, and also producing a machete as well. So I suppose the shocking element of the events was that it was heard in court how he was actually her uncle. He was Marguerite's uncle, and Marguerite had been trying to close steel gates at her property in Rathkeale. This was just before Christmas, so you can imagine how hard it is to lose your child, to lose the mother of your child. And then it was like 21st of December, so 4 days before Christmas. She'd been trying to close steel gates, and he rammed the gates with his van, causing her fatal injuries. So yeah, it was a really shocking case. I still remember it. But obviously it died down the last few months because he was before the courts, and today has entered that guilty plea.
Yeah, so he's a 42-year-old, and she was just 21 years old, I think.
Yeah, she was very, very young. Yeah,
and so had only recently been married, and
yeah,
her, just had a baby. I mean,
yeah, she'd a baby boy. There was actually a photo of her on her wedding day. The funeral was a very big funeral. There was, vigils held in her honor as well. So there was a lot of photos of her on her wedding day with her husband. Her dad spoke out a lot as well, and there was pictures of her with her son. So really, really harrowing stuff, as I said, again, just before Christmas. I think it was, I think it might have been Christmas Eve when that arrest happened as well. So just, a really bad time for it too.
Now, in the backdrop of what caused all this is, look, we didn't hear it in court on this occasion because basically a guilty plea was entered, and he was remanded in custody for a sentencing hearing, which the judge gave some details of what that was going to be like.
Yeah.
But we do know there was various tensions going on in Rathkeale at the time, and Danny O'Donoghue was acted in the middle of all of that and basically killed an innocent woman who had no involvement in any of this feuding or tensions that were going on in the local area.
No, she had just literally given birth a few weeks before. Obviously, she was a family member, and we had reported at the time before he was charged that there was, as you said, tensions were very high. There had been a lot of incidents in Rathkeale of assaults, of car rammings and stuff like that. But obviously nobody anticipated such a tragic incident to occur. The tensions were so high to the extent that there was actually extra Gardaí drafted into Rathkeale over the Christmas period. So there was a lot of incidents, and it's described it as two or more sides not happy with each other, and unfortunately Marguerita got
this is the problem,
unwillingly dragged into this.
This is the problem with these feuding incidents, is that they can escalate very quickly, but there's innocent people can be caught in the crossfire, and obviously this is the case in this occasion. Now in court, Judge Colin Daly described it as a sad case indeed, which nobody could say anything otherwise. And he said, given this sort of sensitive nature of the case, that he wouldn't, he would hold Mr. O'Donoghue's sentencing hearing on its own.
Yeah, so that's going to take place at the end of October. They also mentioned her husband Dennis, who I think is in the UK at the moment, her parents as well, so they need the opportunity to provide victim impact statements. I'd imagine it's going to be highly charged given the nature of the circumstances around there. So it will be, he also described it as a sensitive case, which it is. So there's going to be a lot of consideration to the sentencing and how it's dealt with. And obviously her family will be given an opportunity as well to describe their loss. There was a lot reported at the time that, her father spoke out about how, they're so lucky to have their grandchild. It was Marguerite and her husband Dennis's first child, and her father spoke about how, he's so devastated that she won't be able to watch him grow up, but he's a magic, he's a miracle basically that they have of her. So you can only imagine, the impact that's had on her family and what will be said in those statements. So the judge will have to take all that into account.
Also, Mr. O'Donoghue also pled guilty to producing a machete during the course of the dispute and causing criminal damage to a van, also the property of Patrick Sheridan.
Yeah, and he admitted causing criminal damage to gates at a property as well. I assume that's related to the death of Marguerite.
Yeah.
So that all happened today. He hasn't sought bail since he was arrested, so he's been in custody since last December.
Yeah.
So obviously that will be taken into account with his sentencing as well.
Yeah, and they ordered a pre-sentencing report from the Governor of Portlaoise Prison, and as well as an educational report in respect of the accused. But it's one of those cases that really struck home, I think, and the family spoke out a lot and also spoke at the funeral as well.
Yeah, they did. They described her as a true legend. She had a love for horses as well. She'd recently become a mother, as we've said, but they were saying that he should be here with him. He was described as a very he was described as a very special boy. There was thousands of people at a candlelit vigil before her funeral, and the people of Rathkeale really turned out in their droves for her funeral mass as well. I think there was horse and carriages. There was a lot of blown up photographs. But yeah, it was just, I think it was all of the circumstances surrounding it. She was a very new mother. She was only 21, so very young herself, recently married just before Christmas. And now also, the tensions and the fact that a family member was behind it. It just adds up to being, one of the most tragic things you can imagine, really. So,
and a very emotive case, but we will return to it during the sentence hearing in October.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Thanks, Niall.
Thanks, Eimear.
I'm Nicola Tallant and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.